this desktop to dock as a code. So this session is basically just a summary of how in technical documentation we have evolved while using different kind of tools. We do need tools. So before getting to the tool, let's see what is technical documentation. So as per wiki, as you can see on the screen, it refers to any type of documentation. I think this, you can read this. I'm not going to read it. So this is basically any type of documentation which talks about a product. This is how wiki defines it. That is what technical documentation as per wiki is. So here basically the error messages and all are not part of it, this definition. Now, what is the expectation from a technical writer? Here I am just using the word technical writer, not a tech writer. I'll come to that term, because when we talk about technical documentation, generally the role that comes in mind globally is technical writer, or other terms, information developer and other terms used for it. So again, as per wiki, technical writer's task is just to translate the usually highly formalized and all this. I prefer the last word, the user-friendly prose. So this is what wiki says. Whatever you understand, whatever you do, your output comes in the form of user-friendly prose. So now when we talk about prose, it's just English, nothing else. I'll come to that point again. But if we just go by wiki, then we just have technical writers and we have a limited set of technical documentation. Now what I call as, we are living in an era of tech writers, not just technical writers. Because in IT, it's not just the technical writers who are contributing for the product. So who is a tech writer? For me, a tech writer is any writer in the company who is contributing overall to the product in one way or other. It can start from marketing team. Those are not actually technical writers, but they create proposals, they create different kind of marketing stuff. That's also part of writing. Then of course technical writers are there. Then we have nowadays a lot of demand you can see about API writers. API writers often follow different things which are very different from what we generally use for the guides as technical writer. And then of course we just, yeah. And then we just saw the UX writer also. So we have different names, but all are contributing to the product, helping the customer. So that's where I prefer to use term a tech writer instead of just the technical writer. And in all this process, when you see what do we do as tech writers, we understand and write the technical product. Like Vicky said, a document. We don't just refer to a document like long ago we used to do with RFPs and other document design documents. We get into the product and then of course we write in a user-friendly prose. Then like UX writer, what do? They strengthen the branding part. An organization branding consists of many things, but one of the main thing is their product. If the product's UI is not good, the branding is directly impacted. And now products branding is not about just look and feel. It's also about the content. It has to be right. It has to be accurate. Then we just don't write about the UI, something that which is running in the backend and which is very helpful, like API. Add beauty. I'm not sure how many of you were there in the last session. There we talked about editing content. Oh no. This meeting recording will end in 10 minutes. So fine. Anyway, I will finish in 10 minutes and recording will end, but meeting can this meeting will end in 10 minutes. Then probably I will have to share another link, guys. So I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
because it is only 40 minutes limit
yeah,
for Zoom.
last time it was allowing me 1 hour. Anyway, I'll just finish this. So we add beauty to the content. Beauty to the content is what we discussed in editing part also. So beauty basically means the styles, the formatting, and for that basically we go through various tools that we are using which help us basically in using multiple kind of styles, multiple kind of formatting. That is not part of writing. It's when we say friendly prose, we just write. Styling, formatting, that's what adds to beauty, because the document doesn't only have to be just readable, it has to be presentable also. And now the current demand is you just don't work in isolation. You have to collaborate properly and in real time with the project teams. So to do all that, when we just talk about friendly prose, then it's just writing. So for writing, you don't need a tool unless you consider Notepad also as a tool. We can write just on Notepad also. But when we overall talk about technical documentation that covered all the aspect, collaboration, beauty, so then we need a tool. So writing basically just needs processes. Like one of the process all of you must be aware about is data, but it's documentation which needs tool. And when does documentation need a tool? Just to write, at least I don't agree. Just to write, we need a tool. As I said, we can use Notepad also. But can we present documentation in Notepad to the customers? No, we need to beautify it. We need to collaborate also for reviews. We need to publish in multiple output types. You must have heard about single sourcing. That's why we have specialized documentation tools in single sourcing. And then we need basically to maintain websites also. Probably everybody is not maintaining website, but whatever content we write in HTML format, all that goes on website, unless it's just PDF which we are sending through mail or shipping with the product. So now the big question, which tool solves the purpose? The answer to this is, first you have to know the purpose, that what basically you want to present. So there are many documentation tools, but you need to know which purpose you need to solve. So here we will just say that, okay, overall, what all are available in the market historically. So some of those examples here are, if we divide, we started with text editors, Notepad, WordStar especially, once upon a time was very useful and famous. Then we came to desktop publishing tools, MS Word. All of you will know, many of the companies are still using MS Word. I'm sure you will be aware about that. And then we have the help authoring tools. It's a long list. Everybody will be an advocate of many of these tools. Somebody will prefer Flair, somebody will prefer something else. All of these help authoring tools have their own benefits and some challenges also. And then we came to the content management system, where we use Confluence. Even content management system, many people are using WordPress also, okay, for technical documentation. So directly all these things people are using. And from all these, what are you getting? You are getting the output that we were talking. You are writing, you are beautifying, you are collaborating also. And with content management system, you are maintaining the website also, if you're responsible for that. But then comes basically doc as a code. That's the last part I will say. In terms of, so doc as a code, as a word, it's not a tool. So what does it involve? Here you write docs using a text editor. So text editor one is a tool. Then you manage with some version control. So that's number two tool. Number three is you compile using a static site generator. That's number three. And then you build from server. So maintaining the server, another, if you consider a tool part, that's number four part. So doc as a code overall involves these four steps. In general, if we see, then unlike those help authoring tools, we don't have any popular documentation tool required. Instead, we use a combination of multiple tools. And so to write short codes, you use what we call markdown editors, and which are available free in the market mostly. So these are some names of the markdown editors, and you just have to be aware about some short codes which provide you the styling. Then you have to manage repository where you can manage your version control also. So GitHub, all of you are aware, and there are many CMS also for this managing repository. So whatever you write, you have to get it to the repository, and then with repository there, now you have to get it into a static site. To for a static site, there should be the content generator. So for that, we have Jekyll, Hugo, Sphinx, and then you build site. Now building site can be your own company server, or AWS 3 is very popular these days, and otherwise there are other popular options also which are paid, as well as some are paid very, for some you pay a lot, and some are free options also. So technically if we just want to have those free options, actually for all these four steps you have free options available. So apart from hosting the website, you don't pay anything. But then what are the challenges in this? A learning curve is there, because for all those four levels of tools or stages you need to learn, which is very different generally from help authoring tool. Then you manage multiple tools together. Managing all these together at times is a big challenge. But what are the benefits? If we see the bigger benefits, pure full independence is there from all the costly tools. Your cost comes down, and the best thing you get, even if you are authoring in help authoring tools like Madcap Flare or something, where is your content going? That content is going to some website. Are you responsible to design that website? At times, don't you think the website should be, the way I'm writing content, the website doesn't justify that. So I want to I want to design it. I means not the individual writer, but as a doc team, I'm saying. So there, using doc as a code, you get that edge. It The collaboration is amazing here. The options, basically, because you are using Git as a repository, they are also very much familiar to it, in fact more familiar than us in most of the cases. So the collaboration for review and all, it's very fast and easy. Of course, as I said in the first point, not costly. And the best part is, if you want to learn on your own, the web has plenty of things to offer here.